Okay, so here's the idea. See, we got this huge hit on our hands with A Nightmare on Elm Street, right? So what I want to do is I want to recreate that success. But I think in order to be successful, what we need to do is ignore all the lore and the rules. Because if there's anything that horror fans don't want, it's the same old rules. You know what I'm saying? What could go wrong? I mean, welcome to Half-Ass Movie Podcast. Movie Podcast, a show where we put together a half-ass theme as an excuse to watch movies. My name is Adam Porters, and joining me today, well, you don't want to know what he's doing in the shower. Sweet Sean Kovacs from the internet.
You are all my children now.
Children of the night, we all are. Bruce Leslie is out this week, everybody. But I will say this: happy birthday to Bruce's wife.
Oh, nice! Happy birthday!
I think it was her birthday, maybe yesterday or something like that. And I'm going to go ahead right here on top of the show, just so I don't forget, because I didn't put it in my notes or anything else like that. But because we're thinking about Bruce right off the top here, speaking of Bruce and his wife, him and his wife teamed up on YouTube. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
They put out an episode. I haven't watched it myself just yet because I've been quite busy today. But him and his wife put out a little YouTube video talking about a horror movie of some sort.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm going to check that out. I'm going to put the show note link in the show notes there for you and everything. But yeah, man. Today we are talking Nightmare.
I have a question. I have a question right off the bat. Oh, you don't know because you haven't seen it. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't look completely under duress, and according to her, him in the video, it was her idea. So she seems that she's there on her own volition, which I think is good.
My big concern is that she has to do the role that you have been given, which is whenever he makes some awful low-hanging fruit joke, the courtesy laugh that you give him.
Yeah.
That she has to courtesy laugh just constantly.
Yeah.
I hope that's not there, but we both know it is. So.
I hope there's a couple of subtle, just kind of like taps on the arm, just kind of like, sweetie.
Enough. Yeah.
Thank you for your input, but people don't want to hear it anymore. I think that's mostly how people reacted to me at the family dinner table back in the day. There was a moment where my mom would stop in the middle of it and just go, "Is this a bit? What are we doing?" And I'm like, that says a lot about me, Mom. Thanks a lot. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this here is a live show. And so we are out on YouTube as of right now, when we want you to like, comment, subscribe. And if you got that hype button, which is starting to spread out to more and more people, it seems like there, hit that like button and the hype button. We really appreciate that. That just helps this show get out to other people and all kinds of stuff. And speaking of other people and stuff, again, Bruce's, he was out. Did you see that he was at a film festival talking about Werewolf Fighter for his last time here in the hometown and everything? Pretty awesome.
I saw that. It's pretty cool. You know, the thing with, as you know, I mean, the thing with film festivals is that it's such a crapshoot of where you're placed. Unless there's like some sort of juice behind what you have done, you don't get prime time. You don't have your pick of the litter of what's before you or ahead of you. You know, so sometimes you'll go into something and just be like, I cannot think of a worse lead-in movie to our movie, or, you know, movie after our movie. Oh, yeah. And that's sort of the case with Bruce's movie, unfortunately. But, you know, Bruce, you're dealt a hand that brung you. And that's what he had to deal with this week.
Of the day to be followed by Werewolf Fighter.
Well, right. The Constant Gardener followed by Werewolf Fighter.
They're all equivalent in some way, shape, or form, and as much as they're moving pictures with sound, I suppose. But they, you know.
yeah. Different goals. The girl with the pearl earring, and then Werewolf Fighter. Different goals.
Different goals. One might say different audiences as well. That's just
one would think.
One would actually hope. I hope they are not the same. Like the crossover, the Venn diagram. If it's just one circle, I don't know what society's working with at this point.
I came for F. Murray Abraham. I'm staying for Werewolf Fighter.
That's the double feature that they put on. Everyone comes for that one, but they stay for the Werewolf Fighter. Listen, I want to watch two movies, but I'm really here for the Werewolf Fighter, if we're honest. So yeah, we're streaming here live on YouTube, and if you can't drop us a little bit of these, come on, man.
Fortress
I got to hit that button super hard there. I think he wants to just be smacked around there. We appreciate all the super chats and everything. You guys are the best of the best here, man. So I just want to appreciate that. And we are almost at 21,000 subscribers. So tell your mama and your friends and everything. We are
Wow.
knocking on the corner of that one right there. So
wow, thank you very much. That's amazing. That's sort of that's kind of shocking because I know how long it took to get to 20. So to get to 21 this quickly, it's like, hey, all right. All right.
Train and help us out, everybody, and check us out as well. I have started back up TikTok Trash Tuesday. I think I was initially going to have a guest on, my first guest for TikTok Trash Tuesday next week, this coming Tuesday and everything. I don't know if she could make it, though. It doesn't seem like it. She was like, "This is a live show." I'm like, "Yeah, that's how I kind of pitched it," but okay. So, check it out on Tuesday. Maybe I think she said she'll send me some videos and stuff like that. Maybe we'll do a little reaction on that kind of stuff. But that is over on TikTok Trash Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube there. I take a whole bunch of movie TikToks and stuff, and we talk about them. We yap about them. We make fun of some people. And then we also congratulate some people on their amazing takes, because every now and then we do come across some good ones. So it's not all me just bitching. I promise. I really promise.
It sure feels that way, though.
There's
so I've got to, I'm always on IMDb for this show. I don't know how aware you are of that, but when I'm doing research and stuff, some of it is through IMDb. And IMDb recently has started selling merch on their site. IMDb merch. And my question is, who's buying that? Who's like, man, I'm such a massive IMDb fan. I gotta get a baseball shirt that says IMDb on it. That's how much I love IMDb.
My guess is it's got to be the person who was very much on the IMDb message boards back in the day.
I see.
They used to have a whole bunch of message boards on IMDb, because now we just think about the reviews and the funny little, 1-star reviews and stuff that people give and everything. But there used to be actual honest to God, full ass discussion boards on IMDb. My guess is it's those nerds who've been in there for the longest and just goes, well, I log all of the things. They sign into IMDb. They're one of those people.
It's one of the things where it feels like it's nostalgia that they're hitting. It's sort of like the Blockbuster Video t-shirts that you can buy now. If Blockbuster Video was still a thing, not a single human being is wearing those t-shirts. But because now it's a defunct brand, people are just like, man, I got to get me one of them Blockbuster Video t-shirts.
It's like Bruce and
it's ironic.
Yeah. If you really love this show as well, why don't you head on over to patreon.com/HMP. Those intrepid people get the pre-show, post-show, and Dinger Zone. Dinger Zone this week, everybody. We are talking our top 5 New Line Cinema films, because this week we're talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, a.k.a. the house that Freddy built over there at New Line Cinema and everything. They were almost about to die, almost completely ready to just fall off a cliff there and everything, and then Freddy comes back and saves the whole damn thing.
It's impossible to not think of, for me, because I'm of that age, it's impossible to not think of New Line and Freddy at the same time. They're one and the same.
So we'll be talking about all of those fine films over at patreon.com/HMP, or if you hang out to the end of this live show over on YouTube and everything, we do it there. We cut it out later, so you so-and-sos can't see it live. Y'all's live is the only way, or patreon.com/HMP. We really appreciate that. And on hopefully around, like a late Monday or maybe a Tuesday, I put up the full edit of HMP. That's where it's not just a picture of me and Sean on one side or the other. It goes back and forth. That's a little bit more dynamic for those of you that got a little ADD or something like that. That's my.
I did notice, because I looked at the last one. Our mouths are a bit off.
It's so hard to do everything.
I know, man. I'm saying.
Oh yeah. So as best you can, and sometimes they're easier than others. I bet you this one will be easier because I'm just syncing up 2 as opposed to 3.
Sure.
And that's when you really get into that 3 category. There's always, whenever there's some frames and stuff drops, that's where some weirdness happens. So I think that's what gets in there. Anyways, but head over there to Patreon. We really appreciate that and love all you fine people for supporting this show each and every week, month over month, year over year on this point, man. So we really appreciate that. Thank you all so much. All right, let's get into it, Sean. Here is the IMDb plot line for, excuse me, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, and my teleprompter is going slow. Give me a second. As we all know, IMDb always 100% correct in everything they say and or do. A teenage boy is haunted in his dreams by a deceased child murderer, Freddy Krueger, who is out to possess him in order to continue his reign of terror in the real world. That is kind of true. This is written by David Chaskin, who wrote The Curse with Will Wheaton. I know Will Wheaton's probably real proud of that one. He wrote I, Madman, and an episode of a TV show called Monsters in the late 80s and early 90s there and everything. And in 1992, he wrote a movie called Midnight's Child, starring a very young Elizabeth Moss. He was working all the way back then and everything, but yeah. This is directed by Jack Shoulder, who did Alone in the Dark, The Hidden. He directed Tales from the Crypt episode, and he was the director of Generation X TV movie that we reviewed on HMP.
Oh yeah,
back in the day. Yeah,
that's like one of the first years we did that one.
Mm-hmm. This is starring Mark Patton, Kim Myers, Robert Russler, Hope Long, Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, and of course, it's the 80s and required by law, Clu Gulager. Sean, horror movies, a little all over the place for you. I never quite know what things are. have you? My guess is that most anybody has probably seen A Nightmare on Elm Street. Even if you want to dabble in horror movies at all, chances are this is one of the first ones that you kind of will see along that journey, I would think. Yeah.
I believe I've seen the first 3 Nightmare on Elm Street movies. After that, I couldn't tell you if I've seen them or not. I know I saw the first 3.
Listen, in my opinion, you're good to go there. I think you might want to see Wes Craven's New Nightmare, just because it's a fun little meta sort of thing.
Well, look, man, look, we're good. I don't need to see more.
No,
we're totally good.
It's just because of the storytelling aspect and how it's absolutely like none of the other movies and stuff like that. It involves kind of the real world, and like Wes Craven plays himself in the movie and stuff like. It's kind of interesting.
Maybe,
but it's not necessary to watch it. But it is.
I'm just gonna tell you straight up. I'm never gonna see that movie. The thing about these movies, right, is that like I understand that Robert Englund, Robert Englund is
it's not really spelled like England, the country, right, and everything, but you might as well say it like that, even though it's like a gung little stuff.
He's great as Freddy. He's always been great as Freddy, even when everyone else had given up on this franchise. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, there he is. Like that's why this is so famous, this thing. And that part's great. And that's one of the things that I'm going to say a few positive things first. So that part's like seeing him in his element is pretty great. 2, what a breezy, very, very short movie. Thankfully, this isn't.
When you see 85 minutes on a movie, you're just like, what a grand world we've gotten ourselves into here.
It's really nice. That part's great. And the third thing, it's not a good or bad thing. It's just a weird thing, is that everybody in this movie keeps calling Freddy Fred Krueger. They don't call him Freddy. And it's a little off-putting. It's like when you're talking to someone and they're talking about Mike Fox, and you're like, who's Mike Fox? And they're like, Back to the Future, Mike Fox. And it's like, that's Michael J. Fox. Is that who you mean? Michael J. Fox? That's kind of what it feels like watching this last night for the first time. Geez, I probably hadn't seen this in 30 years.
The kind of holdover from that is really from the first Nightmare on Elm Street. Mm-hmm. When you see even in the credits there, he is listed as Fred Krueger. She refers to him as. I don't even know if technically he's even referred to as Freddy in the first one, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
I don't remember, because I've seen it one time. I don't.
If
really
it is,
remember.
It's very rare, if ever. But it's mostly Fred Krueger that they're talking about in the first movie for sure.
And it's this one too. It's all Fred. There's no Freddy.
Yeah.
And so it's just a little off-putting when you hear it.
Yeah, especially after so many years of just, that's being the thing. That's Freddy Krueger, not Frederick Krueger. No one's being scared by that.
Frederick P. Krueger. It just feels weird
It haunts your nightmares, ma'am.
when you hear it, right? So that's it. Do you have what are the positives that you take away from it, Portress?
I've seen this movie a couple times. The initial time that I saw it was when I was kind of going through that horror phase and everything, where you're just kind of like devouring everything that's in front of you. And I was late to horror in my life and everything, so I was just kind of like seeing what I could gobble up. I'd heard a lot of great things about Friday the 13th part, or excuse me, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. But you know, you just kind of want to. The nerd in you goes, let's try to be a completionist here and check this out and everything. And you look at Freddy's Revenge. And for me, that first time, it really, I hated it because it was just like it ignored all the rules that Wes Craven put down. That was kind of the genius of A Nightmare on Elm Street, was how everything.
So this is one of the positive things that you're bringing to the table.
No, I'm telling you. Well, we're getting there, but I did not like the movie at first, and I was just like, it ignored all the rules, and I ignored most of the movie just because it was just like it was eye rolling the entire time. Just like, I can't believe that they're not even attempting to follow any of the rules. Freddy's just jumping out in the real world. We're possessing people. It's like, that's not the movie that that we should be having here. That's not the sequel to Nightmare on Elm Street.
And that's that was my question to you, because I couldn't remember the rules to Freddy. I know, like, if you die in your dream, you're dead. I know that part, and but I didn't remember him possessing someone to get into the real world. That wasn't something I remember. Is that just unique to this film?
That's definitely unique to this one. The way that they got Freddy into the real world in the first Nightmare was essentially she kind of grabbed onto him
and pulls him out.
Pulls him out of the kind of dream world there and everything. That's how he gets into reality. But here he just kind of comes and goes as he pleases sometimes, or goes out through another character or something like that. But,
it was very confusing because, as you know, I'm not a huge fan of like slasher movies in the first place, and so I hadn't really thought about what are the actual rules to Freddy, and so to have them do things that I didn't remember. So it is just unique to this film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put at the beginning is kind of, it seems like a weird thing, but I'm not 100% sure of like exactly what happened, is why Wes probably didn't want to be involved in the sequel or anything like that.
He just wants the money.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, I'd like to have more money, please. This was a big hit for you, and they're like, we still want to be making that money, so we're going to hire this guy, and we're going to hire this guy over here who knows nothing about any of this sort of stuff, and just let him have at it. And we'll get into all of that mess and everything. What was the initial question? I'm so sorry.
And what are the name a positive that you came out with?
So afterwards, I will say afterwards, they had a huge documentary series, and you can still find it out there, called Never Sleep Again. It's like 8 hours or something, but goes through the entire lineage of all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies in painstaking detail. And you get to this point in there, and you find, like, this is the first time that Mark Patton has ever come back out, and just been like, he's been missing actually for like 30 years.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we'll get into all this fun stuff, because there's a lot of interesting things about this movie and the history of it and everything. But he'd been missing for a while, and they tracked him down in Mexico and got him to actually appear in this documentary to talk about the writer and everything, and how that he felt slighted by the writer and everything, and just being a gay man in Hollywood in the 80s and stuff like that. We'll get into all that. But that documentary made me go, oh, wait a second, let's look back at this, because they talked a lot about in that documentary and everything, the gay undertones or overtones in many cases throughout the entire movie. And I think when I initially watched it, like I said, I was watching just kind of going, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't the sequel to the movie that I saw. So you see some stuff, and it's the 80s, and let's be honest, there's some, fruity stuff going on in the 80s. You're just like, whatever. And so you just kind of let it go. You're just like, I don't know. Am I reading too much into it? You don't want to seem like a homophobic person. Just go like, this is super gay. But no, it was secretly very, very gay.
Hold on. So my next question is this: is that how many people do you think this movie made uncomfortable with the homosexuality that is so clearly on the page.
Oh, a
And
ton of them.
but what I'm saying is, like, I'm feeling feelings that I didn't know that I had inside of me, and this
Oh,
movie is bringing them out.
yes. Now, when you watch the other documentary about
Hmm.
this called Scream Queen, that's all about specifically Patton and his journey and everything throughout this. They definitely go to a whole bunch of, kind of just. I'm trying to figure out how old they are, but just a bunch of like a group of gay guys who all have like like the guy's face on their shirt and everything. They look like they're having a fun time, and they were just like, "Yeah, he was my first boyfriend," watching TV.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
but they were just like, yeah. A couple of them were just like, I came out a couple of months later and stuff, when it's just like I wasn't quite right. So there were definitely some people that watched
That's
and had
awesome.
some inner feelings and stuff come out and go like, oh, and coming. The movie had kind of that evolution, if you will, from a movie that was kind of A, hated because it skirted all the rules, and B, hated because it was like, what's this gay stuff coming in here? Because they don't super address it or anything, but it's a lot of gay undertones.
But that's
And
the thing. Hold on, because that's the thing about this movie is the time that it's released. Being gay is so taboo that there are plenty of people who saw this movie who didn't know why they didn't like it. Like,
oh yeah,
and it's funny because it even shows up in the IMDb reviews still to this day. The people who are like, I like the people who don't like the feelings they had watching this movie. There's still the guys who are like, I hate this movie. This movie sucks. It's terrible. It's what, and they use all
yeah,
all the like the production of this is awful. Like they're using the right words, but
mm,
you can see just with the amount of hatred and vitriol they're hitting this movie with, that it's like, oh, this movie made them feel feelings that they're uncomfortable with. Like you
yeah.
could totally tell. Like this movie is not a good movie. And quite honestly, as I am alluding to, I hate this movie. I hate it, but I don't hate it because of the gay. The gay is actually one of the cool things to me about this
It's
movie.
one of the fun. It's honestly it's the thing that's kind of kept me going about this movie over the years is that like when you look through that angle and everything, first of all, you do look at it and go, "How did I not see any of this?
Right.
This is like this.
Right.
I must have been I as blind as Jack Shoulder." So the director, Jack Shoulder, uh, he got this gig and everything, and as you can imagine, he's coming after that first Nightmare, which is a huge success.
Right.
Jack isn't known for doing a whole bunch of special effects movies and everything. In the pre-production for this, he was shitting bricks. He was not sure how he was going to do this thing. He was like, I was just having anxiety attacks every single day, all through pre-production. I think he was so blinders on to try to get his production not to suck that he didn't see all the gay stuff that was just sitting there right in front of him.
Sure. Yeah, I
It
mean,
really
he's got
felt
the
like
he's
an
got
honest thing with like I just didn't know.
he's got the worst kind of fear you can have when going into a production, which is that you don't know the things you don't know.
Mhm.
And when you are there at that level that he's at, I mean, he's got basically a franchise that he's got to pull one out.
Yeah.
So he probably aged 25 years during the production, which I totally understand, because if you don't know special effects, if you don't have a horror background, if you are unsure of the people that you've hired and all of these things are in place for this movie, then you are not having a spectacular time making a movie. And he basically, from what I'm gathering, he's a journeyman director who just kind of gets this movie because he was just available, is what it feels like. And New Line was like, we're not spending any money on this thing, so let's bring in this guy to do it. And he
You're
did.
solid enough. We don't have to pay you too awful much money, but we're pretty sure that you're not going to just screw this up.
Right. And I know that there's plenty of people who are Nightmare on Elm Street fans. I think, as much as I don't like slasher movies, I think that the first Nightmare on Elm Street is pretty unimpeachable for being a good movie in this genre. Like, I think as much as I disdain the plot contrivances of a Nightmare on Elm Street movies, I do understand that's a very well made film. And it's just kind of fun and cool to see how they're getting around the budgetary restraints they have. Like, that part's really great. The same budgetary restraints, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Nightmare on Elm Street 2 cost more money than the first one, but my God, you can't tell. This looks like an after school special. That's how poorly the money is on screen. Like there's fun stuff like how are we going to make this really awesome party that we're building up to in this film? And at the end of the movie, it's 15 people in somebody's backyard. Like that's kind of a cool way to get around that. But if they threw any money at this thing at all, that place would have been jammed full of kids. It's just that New Line ain't spending a ton of money on this thing, and you can tell.
Listen, when people won't be looking at the kids, they'll be looking at the paper lanterns we got hanging around here. That's what people like to see. They're like, there's colorful paper lanterns hanging above the pool.
So
torch flames, yeah.
So I got to get to this because this is the part that's eating away at my soul. And if I don't bring it up, it's going to kill me from the inside out. As you know, I absolutely hate dreams in movies. I hate when people talk about dreams. The thing I hate most in movies is that really happened or did it? Like I hate that in movies. I hate it. And this entire movie series is all that. It's only like are we supposed to believe what we're seeing right now? Like it's all that.
And the bad part
for all 8 movies, right? There's 8 of these.
I mean, 7 like proper ones.
7 original, and then there's the new one, so that's 8, right?
Well, yeah, 8 if you count that one, 9 if you count Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy versus Jason is 9. Right.
And some people would say the Jackie Earl Haley one don't even count. So.
And Robert Englund is Freddy in Freddy versus Jason, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So like here's the thing. If you can't stand the plot contrivance that the entire movie is based upon, you start looking for other things. When you're watching a movie you don't necessarily you already know you're not going to like. And so the problem with this movie is that with the exception of Robert Englund and the dude who plays the coach, who is also in like Starship Troopers and Total Recall, like that, he's like that awesome character actor that just kind of went away weirdly. Anyway, there is not a single other good performance in this movie. There isn't a single actor where you can go like, oh, at least you can hang your hat on that. Like even the girl in this movie is no good. She no good as an actress. I don't believe a single thing she's saying. I also think that she is the only cool thing about her is that she's not a conventional girl that you would hire into this role, right? Like usually that girl is a smoke show. This girl is not. This girl is just like girl next door looking.
Yeah, she looks like a girl that you could run into at high school for sure.
Right. And I do enjoy that part, but what would have been awesome is if she was a good actress, which she isn't. And there's so many bad performances, but it's not even fun. Like the movie is so slow and boring. It's so boring. And they spent so little money on this movie that when you are in that house, when you're in the I can't even remember the family's name. That's how bad I like them. The Walshes. Yeah. So when you're inside the Walshes house, they didn't have enough money to like come up with what these folks are into. So like there's not even a story to what's happened, like what this family is like. Like they keep complaining about how he hasn't really moved into his room, that the boxes are still stacked up. Where are those boxes? There's not there's like 3 boxes in one scene.
More dirty than it does like
right. It just looks like some kid's high school bedroom who's a slob. That's all that looks like.
Because you know what somebody who's unpacking doesn't do, put board games and stuff up.
Right, exactly.
That stuff would still be packed up if you were a person that wasn't unpacking. Those don't end up on the shelf.
But because you've hired people that don't necessarily have a lot of film credits because you want to get the cheapest people possible, that no one is doing the research on any of this. No one is asking the actors, hey, what are you into? Like there's none of that stuff. With that aside, that's just my own personal pet peeve. I
There's
understand that.
Fortress Bucks.
Matt says, I really could go for a bowl of Fu Manchus.
I totally agree. That part's awesome. The Fu Manchus are literally the best set dressing in the entire movie. Really great.
He also wait.
Fortress Bucks.
We gotta do it doubles for him here.
Oh,
I bet the whole Freddy thing stems from the '80s TV show Freddy's Nightmares. That may be.
oh, maybe. I know that came out while they were still making the movies, right? So that makes sense.
It's
The-
a more friendly name, you know.
So I'm sure this has come up a million times before. I'm just new to the party. Where is Freddy's revenge? What is he? Where is that part of the movie that in this movie called Freddy's Revenge? What is he? Where is the revenge coming into it? I
You
don't
see,
understand that.
because he was killed so many years ago, and yeah,
Right.
Yeah, no, I think that's mostly like why people call it Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and very rarely ever hit the subtitle of Freddy's Revenge, because you're right. What revenge are we revenging? It's
Right.
not Jake's revenge. You know what's going on in that movie.
It's been a million years since I've seen the first one, but the first one, that's more him getting his revenge, right? Because he's going after the
Yeah.
kids of the parents that burned him, right?
Which, by the way, interesting bit to this of, like, you know, if you moved away, or I think they say mom killed herself in this one, which I found interesting. Because I guess she gets sucked through the window at the end of the movie, and maybe they thought she killed herself. I don't know how she sucks herself through a window to kill herself, but maybe that's neither here nor there. But I don't know. I forgot where I was going, just because I just pictured that mannequin going into that little window hole there, and I just started laughing. So I totally lost my train of thought.
I can't help you back
That's
because
right.
the thing that because there is another giant plot hole to this, which just seems giant size to me, and it had to have come up a million times, you know, in chat boards or whatever, message boards. So family moves into house, kid isn't aware that all of these murders happened in the house, like, until he's been in school for like a week and a half.
You feel like somebody would have said something like, "Oh, you moved into Nancy's old house," or did you hear the tale about that house?" And blah, blah,
Look,
blah, blah.
dude, there was a house that was across the street from a grocery store in my hometown. That house had burned to the ground, right? Contractors come in, they build a brand new house, but the house was in shambles for probably like 5 to 10 years. So stories build up about that house, like this is what happened in there, and it's all crap. Like the house just happened to burn down, right? But you know, you build stories like, oh well, this person was jealous because they found their husband home and burned like stuff like that. House gets completely taken away. New house built, foundation, the entire way, brand new house built on that plot of land. The family that moves in, there is a girl who's around my age. Like, she went to junior high with me and then high school. And every single human being that met her would say, in a small town like the town that Freddy's in, would be like, "Oh, you're in that haunted house there. Like that house is haunted. I know it's new construction, but that house is haunted."
Yeah, and not for nothing, but like they mentioned, which is true, that someone got killed in the other house as well. That house sell?
Yes, exactly right.
Oh, like we kind of skip over that. It's just like Johnny Depp's house that goes on the market real fast. Though they have like the backyard, unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. And so like there's just bit after bit that made this movie so hard for me to get through. And it's paced like molasses, man. Like, once you get past that first scene, which is the bus that Freddy is driving, and they have that really good take of, it's just Robert Englund in the driver's seat when you first see him, And it's like, oh, sweet, they put Robert Englund in because you don't know. I totally forgot that it's going to be Freddy driving that bus later. And so you have that whole scene, right? And it's teetering, and is it real or is it a dream? You know, all that crap that I hate. But I understand that if you are a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, at least you're getting what you came into the movie theater for. It's just everything that happens after that. You don't see Freddy again for 45 minutes, probably. He doesn't kill a single person until like the coach is the first person he kills, right? And that's like an hour in. You're at the beginning of the third act when that happens.
It's like now he's finally decided to show up and say hi to everybody.
Right. I mean, like Freddy's kill count in this movie is what, 5? Like I understand why people.
Well, no, he kills a decent amount of people at the pool party. So
But there's 15 people at that pool party.
yeah, but they're
Portraits.
all fucking dead.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Also, great cameo by Ferris Bueller's dad across the street. That was awesome. That was really cool. I was like, oh, holy shit, he got another job. That's awesome.
Every now and then they'll be throwing in some little gems for you.
But I expected there to be so many more of them in this just because, you know, like, it's not like New Line had like their stock players or anything like that because it wasn't that kind of film company. But like, you expect at least to see like, oh, hey, that dude was in Weird Science. Oh, hey, that's the kid that would be the brother on Small Wonder. You know,
Yeah.
there's none of that stuff in this. And that also makes it a bummer.
Yeah,
Everybody's so bad.
Yeah, you figured they'd be going out and trying to get some of those kind of like low-level celebrities and stuff like that. Kind of, you know, it's like, hey, listen, you know, we remember Johnny Depp? He was like nowhere like 2 years ago when we were doing this one. Now look at his career. He's on 21 Jump Street. This guy's killing it over here. You could be the next Johnny Depp. Come on board.
Right. I just don't understand that part. And they kind of figure it out in the third one, right? Because that's the one that's got the Arquette and Lawrence Fishburne's in that, right?
Yeah.
So like, and who's the third guy? I can't even remember who the third guy is.
Well, the big thing is that they bring back Nancy, and that's like
that's what it is. It's Nancy.
Everything. If you could bring Heather Langenkamp back there and everything, and really cement that in, because she was, you know, outside of Freddy, is the other kind of yin to the yang of all of that sort of stuff. So she really was that kind of like little X factor when we brought her back. It was just like, thank God you figured it out for 2 seconds.
Right. And so, you know, like, but this one doesn't have any of that stuff. And it really, like, you know, one of the things I'm starting to learn as I get older, although I don't look it and I just get hotter and hotter. One of the things that I don't understand is that, like, that I like about movies is that you can tell when there are people who love the thing that they're making, right? Like, there's usually like, oh, this director really loved it. Like, look at Psycho 2 last week.
Yeah.
There's no less than 4 people who are working on that film who really, honestly, this is a labor of love for them. This is their passion. They need this to be great, and it shows up on screen. But for this, with the exception of Robert Englund just doing the Lord's work, coming back as Freddy for this thing, he must have read that script and just be like, "Are you kidding me?" But he did it anyway because he needed the work because he's Robert Englund. But there's not a single person that's involved with this movie that this was the thing that they just were so passionate about, and they loved every aspect of this thing. This is a money grab all the way, and it's just a money grab. Everybody else is just looking to make their careers better through this movie.
Yeah, and Mark Patton was kind of the same way. He got this role, and really having known nothing about Nightmare on Elm Street previously, once the ink was kind of dry on the contract and everything, that's when they, you know, New Line set him up with a screening of the movie and everything. He sat down and was like, "Oh, this is what I'm doing. Okay."
Mm-hmm.
So like, it wasn't something that was like, now he wanted to, you know, obviously be bigger and better and stuff like that. He moved away from his like family and stuff when he was like 17, moved out to New York City. With like $130 in his pocket and everything, and said, "Listen, I'm going to give myself like 5 years to make this." And like he says, like 30 minutes before that 5 years ran out, I got a big Broadway play with like Cher and Karen Black and a bunch of things. What's it called? Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, whatever the fuck the name of that movie is. Too long of a name. So then after that big successful kind of play run there and everything, Robert Altman's like, we need to make a movie of this. So they make a movie of it and everything. And he goes across to like, Patton's getting like a lot of like early kind of success here and everything. And, you know, with a whole bunch of people that he kind of respects and everything, seems like he's going to start, you know, kicking off here and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then this movie comes along and, you know, it's a lead role. And so you're like, hey, this is how you want to get into, you know, the business and everything. Be the lead in this bad.
The last guy just went off on a rocket ship with his career after being in the last one.
Yeah, so like why not kick this out and see what happens? And he did. And the funny thing is that so Mark was a gay man in a time with which that you are not going to be coming out as gay to people.
No.
The AIDS epidemic is ramping up. It's funny when they mentioned in one of the documentaries that they kind of mentioned the time that Adam Carolla talks about the most fondly, which is the pre-AIDS mid-Coke era.
That's really funny.
It's just like, the world's a great place. AIDS doesn't exist and cocaine is cheap. And that's when Mark moved to New York City, right?
That's great.
So all of a sudden, it was very sheltered and didn't have any kind of like, he's like, I had to get out of this town. Otherwise they were, you know, some redneck was probably going to kill me.
Right.
So he goes to New York City. It is at that kind of pre-AIDS mid-Coke and they are going bananas. Everybody is having a super fun time here. And he certainly will tell you about that. He ends up with a cat that's on Dallas and everything at this time, who was, I don't know if he's probably not known as gay at that point, but he ends up getting AIDS at some point.
Oh no!
And then, you know, as you
his
might
boyfriend
imagine,
or Mark Patton.
Well, Mark eventually does. So
I see.
but, yeah. So it's a mess. So his lover at that time during Nightmare and stuff, he's starting to, you know, kind of, you know, deteriorate and go. So like Mark's headspace is clearly not at a good spot at this point.
Sure, of course.
And shoved into all of this kind of stuff. And
yeah,
pretty crazy. So on top of that, you know, as somebody who's trying to, you know, kind of not, you know, come out of the closet here and everything and ruin his career at this point, they start to realize that, like, or at least while things are kind of going on, the gay subtext within the film.
Right.
Now, David Chaskin, the writer of the movie and everything, for years and years and years, he would deny any kind of like,
of course,
no gay stuff in here.
Of course he did. That's
and it's like you wrote.
That's how you survive.
But it's worse than that, though. Like, he was doing it well past the expiration date of when, you know, it would have been acceptable for him to actually start.
Oh, really?
He was still waiting into that era. Just, he's almost kind of a troll, if I'm quite honest with you. It feels like he was trolling people because a lot of times he goes, I wrote, like, his initial claim was like, I actually wrote this to be like more homophobic, actually. But through Mark's performance, this movie became gay.
Oh, so it's I see. So this guy's basically like he's like a gay version of you. This writer.
he goes, your performance made this gay. It wasn't me writing the movie.
Yeah.
I put gay subtext in
you
it,
brought this on yourself.
You painted the walls fuchsia. What's wrong with you? No, I wrote a straight thing. You just made it hella gay.
Oh man. So Mark Patton then, he had to take the brunt of this then for a while.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that sucks so bad.
He got like, you know, he goes, I prayed to God to like, you know, get me to be a famous person, all this stuff. And like, he answered my prayer. And he also said, guess what I'm also going to do to you? I'm going to take it all away from you.
Yeah.
So he's like, so basically because of all of the gay stuff and everything, and he didn't want to like have any kind of problem, he moves to Mexico. Mm-hmm. Now, while he's in Mexico, that's when his disease starts flaring up and everything. But according to him, he is super grateful that, you know, everything happened when it did, because he said, if I had actually gotten things earlier, the drugs and things that they were giving people at that time would have most assuredly killed him for sure.
Yeah. So he has HIV, not AIDS.
Yeah. Well, I forget what it's, you know, it's at least HIV for sure. Right. But so he was going through all that, and he's like, well, they got the cocktail and everything for me, so everything was, you know, kind of working out good. But like, he stepped away from everything. He was just doing art and like selling things in Mexico. No one knew who he was or anything, and he was hiding literally for like 30 years. Wow. And when those documentarians that were doing the Never Sleep Again doc we're like, we're finding everybody for everything. Anyone that's still around, we're still contacting them to figure this out. They had to hire a private investigator to find him. You literally
Wow.
could not find this man. He
Wow.
took himself off of the map.
Oh
And
man, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of that. To be able to drop out that hard that people got to hire pros to come and find you. That is pretty dope. That is pretty sick, man.
But he's like, yeah, man, I'll do the documentary under the condition that I can actually talk about, how I feel like I was slighted from this writing here and everything, and how
Hell yes.
like this guy just kind of ended up essentially making my life terrible for not admitting that there was like gay subtext and stuff in this. It's just like you kind of ruined stuff for me. And eventually he does end up meeting him. And eventually David does kind of give, it's not the best apology in the world, but it's one of those that's like, it's as good as you're ever going to get from somebody like that.
Sure.
But it felt sincere enough. That's how I felt. If it's like, you know what, if you got it, you're like, listen, I got that much out of it. And that's cool. And Mark seemed to be very, very happy with the outcome there and everything. So things lifted off of his shoulders for sure. And things that he was carrying around for years and stuff. And, I don't know. It seems like he ended up kind of processing things very, very well.
Man, that sucks. And if the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise would have been like the Fast and the Furious franchise, where like we're bringing everybody back, we're going to bring Tokyo Drift into this. We're bringing like guys that you haven't seen in 10 years. We're like, it's too bad because he could have been coasting on that forever. But that's not the kind of movie franchise this is.
And it's nice for him now, though, because, again, he had so many years of not being involved in anything.
Sure.
But now he goes back and does a lot of the con circuit and stuff like that. So to get some money. And it's the Scream Queen documentary is real great because it gives you kind of a very behind the scenes look of him and very honest kind of talk and stuff like that of him just going, it's really weird. It's weird to be sitting at a table and somebody put down a photograph of you from 30 years ago and just says, sign this. It's just like, I'm like, is that just who I am? It's like, no, but it is kind of who I am. So like him learning to kind of grasp with that stuff and and be comfortable with who he is and his place in society. And now what he uses his platform for is not only just to say, hey, I'm the guy from Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and everything. He goes around talking about, like AIDS and stuff like that and making people aware and, an advocate for all these sorts of things. So like he's taken the best of what have been some bad situations and stuff for him. And really, I'm happy for the guy because it seems like he's kind of ironed some stuff out here in the last couple of few.
Yeah, it's cool that he's got that redemption arc, now. The thing that I'm a little curious about with him, because you keep saying that it's AIDS or it's AIDS, but
I forget because there's several people that have several things in the thing. So I'm just sometimes.
Oh, I see. Because it sure sounds like he's got HIV, not AIDS. Because if you had AIDS in the late 80s, you're dead now.
Well, I think his was more kind of, again, they weren't super specific on dates and stuff like that. It was a little more just kind of like, this happened when it happened kind of thing. So I couldn't 100% tell you.
Oh, the name of that movie is Come Back to the Five and Dine, Jimmy Dean.
Yeah, double there.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, he's had quite the meteoric rise and fall there and everything. And he goes and he even says, he's just like, I prayed to God to make me a famous person. God said, guess what? I'm going to take this away from you, but I'm also going to give you this second run here to kind of, look back and say, hey, this is going to be the second half of your career. It's not going to be exactly what you wanted. You're not the big giant, movie star that you were, but maybe this is what you needed to do. And he even says, he's just like, listen, when I was suffering, because he actually he got major sick. He got major sick. And he was like, I am so glad that I wasn't in the public eye while that was happening. He's like, I couldn't have done it. I would not have had the ability to kind of, go on with any of that sort of stuff in the public eye. And, like Rock Hudson had died from AIDS and stuff like, not only had he died from AIDS, like he'd been outed and then he died from AIDS and stuff like that. So you had all these things going on. And this dude was just like, I'm piecing out with all of this kind of stuff. So, and you couldn't quite blame him, but he does, you look back and he's like, oh man, what could have been this possible career? But I think ultimately he goes, things happen for the reasons that they happen. And
sure,
I'm happy now. So that's good.
And the truth of the matter is, if he were born 30 years later, I mean, his life would look very different, but also he probably, A million other things could happen. And
But even 10 years earlier, and he's dead as a doornail.
for sure. And this is, I'm looking through his biography here, and the last line of his biography might be the gayest sentence that I've ever read in my life. It's so funny. As of 2013, he and his husband own an art store in Puerto Vallarta where Patton sells some of his own work, including a line of painted handbags he designed. That is the gayest thing I've ever heard in my life. He sells his painted handbags. I mean, come on, man. He and his husband own an art. That's the kind of gay you want to be, where you're like, listen, we live in Puerto Vallarta. We've got our own art store. Like we're half cocked throughout the day. You know, like we're crazy tan. Like we just lead a life of leisure. Like it just sounds like the best kind of gay you could be, you know.
His husband has this great like Mexican accent, but like he speaks English pretty well actually. But it's just it's still like it's got a little bit of that thickness still on it and everything. They're cute. It's a cute little couple.
That's
It's just
cool.
like, oh, look at these guys. They look like they're having a good time over there in Puerto Vallarta.
That's so cool. Do you remember, Porteous, when there was a time where we would say something like this and we would get a bunch of hate mail from people where there would be like, you guys clearly hate gay people, for like me saying lines like, this is the gayest sentence I've ever read, like that kind of thing. And people would just come after us. And I would constantly have to say things back like, you understand what I do for a living, right? Like the only part I don't have is the part where I'm attracted to dudes. Like that's literally the only thing I don't have. Like I would be the best gay man ever. And like I would have to say stuff like that constantly. And people were like, you hate gay people, you hate them. No, like, I really don't.
Industry. You can't work in certain industries and not just have a decent amount of gay interaction and stuff. Come on.
Who do you think signs the checks, stupid? Like it's not the Jews who run Hollywood, it's the gay Jews who run Hollywood.
Signature.
And with a flourish. But I think because people
can mark, and then it looks like Cletus's slack jawed yokels.
I just think that when now that people can see our face, that there's a bit of context that they probably didn't have previously, because I do kind of have an angry voice at times. And so people are like, that guy just he hates everybody. I really don't. I really don't.
I only secretly hate people.
There's a guy at work, man, who is he has the best mask I've ever seen in my life of someone who's like, see, I'm happy. I'm just a really nice guy. And he is the angriest human being I have ever seen in my life. And he is so like the seething rage is just just under there, and it gets out every so often, but he doesn't let it like just boil. And so he's constantly like smiling and talking about like his children and stuff and how much fun he's having. And it's like, bro, you're gonna kill somebody. Like I can, like you were literally on the verge. I can tell.
If someone's talking about how great a time they're having and there's white knuckles involved,
well, it's that old joke from 30 Rock, right, where Tracy Morgan is crying. He goes, if I'm having such a bad time, then why am I dancing? And he's dancing and he's crying. It's so funny. Oh, so good.
Nobody gave me a script every week. I just showed up.
Well, you know, the story with him is that once a year, Tina Fey would sit down with him for like 2 or 3 days, and she would just start writing down stuff that he said just off the top of his head. One of those things being one of my favorite lines ever from that show, which is live every week like it's Shark Week. Come on, man. You've got to bottle that and you put it right on national television. That's good.
There's some sharks in my living room. And you're like, what? And sure enough, he does have a living room.
He's also got the world's greatest Halloween parody song, Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. It's so good. It is so good.
Take that, Monster Mash.
That's why I love it so very much. It's not any dumber than Monster Mash, but it's not a sitcom. It's so good.
I
Ah,
want to be the bitch meeting for Monster Mash. This is like
werewolf bar mitzvah, spooky, scary, boys becoming men, men becoming wolves. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, enough with a 25-year-old dated reference at this point.
hey, listen, Bruce just watched it last week, so we gotta
hey,
everybody.
hey, you guys heard of this show called Parks and Rec? It's pretty good.
This Andy Griffith guy, I think he's gonna catch on one of these days. Yeah, the whole movie itself. You listen. I feel like, save for the kind of dream stuff, which honestly I think we can kind of get away from some of the dream problems and stuff, because people ain't really even dreaming in this half the damn time, and if they are, you don't even really realize it, and that's what's kind of stupid about it. It's like you don't even know, like if in the dreams were differentiated or somehow, like.
Mhm.
Maybe the only time that they kind of hint at it once is while he's running in the gym and they just fill the gym up with some smoke and stuff or atmosphere and whatever. But I'm like, that's a dream, but then it does happen. And these like that's again, we're ruining the rules. And that's why I was so mad at the movie on initial watching and everything.
Sure.
This isn't what I signed up for. What is this crap?
So,
but again, over the years though, it's gone from the disgust that you have to actually a decent enough appreciation for it.
I don't have disgust for this movie. I don't like it at all. And it's not just this movie, it's all of the movies. But I think that, with the exception of the first one, which, I just have a grudging respect for, because they just made it for no money, and it's
with tape and everything together. And you've got a spinning room in that one, for Christ's sakes, where they just like put a guy down and
the special effect of Freddy coming out of the wall, man. Just the amount of creativity that is thrown into that movie. It's just.
And then when they tried to redo that exact same thing in the 2000s remake, and it was CG and it looks like absolute ass, I'm like, dude, in 1982 they did that with neoprene.
Right.
Come on, dude. What are you doing? You're making it hard on yourself.
And it looks a lot better. I would imagine. I've never seen it, but I would imagine.
Ooh, it is rough.
So like, I don't hate this movie. I hate these movies. I just hate these movies.
Listen, I hate horror in general. Okay, you see what I'm talking about?
When you don't care about the cool kills, when you don't I'm not scared by these movies either. Like, they're not scary. It's just like gratuity, but boring. Like, when you're not like some horror head, like, if you like, I just want to see a good movie, man. Like, that's all I care about. And so to have it be this, not good.
No, listen. You're not wrong. That's the biggest thing. Is I can definitely say that you're not wrong. But I will say, I think at least, if anything, their money did go to special effects and stuff like that, because there are some makeup and things here that are really, really good. Him, like the head bursting out of the thing, and like him just crawling out of his body and stuff like that looked pretty cool. Some, like, for the time and the budget and everything, the stuff coming out of the fingers, I think they did as good a job as they possibly could have with the things that were available to them at that time.
It's not laughable. I'll say that. Like, it's not bad. And you're right. Like, Freddy crawling out of the kid, like, that's okay.
Yeah, that looked pretty good. And tearing the head off, that was fun.
Yeah.
There's a couple other moments, but there's nothing iconic. Like, when we get to part 3, the kills in part 3 are so memorable that you're just like, oh, right, yeah, this is a big one. This is a big one. This is a big one. And so, when comparison, of course, this is just like, oh, so the gym teacher gets slapped with a couple of towels and some scratches down his back, and he's dead. Okay, it's like, save for the salaciousness of the gay undertones and S&M vibe that's going on and everything. What does it got? Nothing. Really.
That's the only cool part about it to me, because there's no other reason to see it except for that and for Robert Englund. Although, I will say you that I will say this. I really dodged a bullet 5 years ago, because if you remember, we were going through sequels
Oh, yeah.
with when we were all in quarantine,
Oof.
and I can't remember what I did, and Bruce did the Fast and the Furious movies, and it just got worse and worse and worse, and I hated, like, good God, I've got to do this for I'm like, there's 2 hours of my life I'm never getting back. Like,
Don't
these
worry,
movies are
there's
so bad.
12 more weeks of this to go.
And that's what I mean. And so can you imagine how awful I would have been? And I was already really bad. Like, by the end, I was like, fuck you, Bruce. I hate this. This is the worst. These are the worst movies ever made. Vin Diesel is shit. He ruins everything. Every time he shows up and he's like, screw this. So these movies are the worst. Like, everybody kept talking about, no, wait till you get to 5. Like, 5 is gonna. I was like, this movie sucks. I hate this movie. But now imagine you've got that, and then we go with the thing that you had discussed, which was, let's see all the Nightmare on Elm Streets. And I said, there is no way I'm going to be able to see those movies. At the time, I thought the reason why I wasn't going to be able to see those movies, look at those movies, is because, like, I just didn't want all of that horrible imagery, like, especially when it comes to the later ones where they're just killing kids like crazy in those movies in fun and different, unique ways. But actually, because that would have been fine, I would have been able to get over all that crap. But actually, it would have been the dream stuff, because as I get older, it's making me more and more angry. Like, when I was a kid, I was like, this is just bullshit. I don't like this. I don't like this. Is this real, or is this a dream? Now it's like, the second I see that we're in that, I'm just like, screw this. Like, you're wasting. You're wasting my time. You are wasting my time. So I really dodged a bullet, and therefore so did you. Is what I'm trying to get across.
Listen, if you think number 2 is bad, 4 and 5 would put you. 4, 5, and 6 actually would probably put you in the hospital. It's
Just because of how much I hate it.
They're just bad.
Yeah,
like, they're bad for these movies. Like 7 probably would have redeemed you to when you're just like, oh, thank Christ. Compared to the last 3, this is like Hitchcock level sort of stuff. Wes Craven's back. Thank God we've got an adult at the helm, because what they do with parts 4, 5, and 6, nobody should be watching them ever. They're bad. They're just bad. I was like, that's it. And like, I will say this, there's more bad Freddy films than there are bad Jason films.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Wow. That's surprising.
Yeah. 1, 3, 4, 5 has got its merits. 7's really good. 8's terrible. But I think they got more. I think they got more winners over the Friday the 13th camp myself. That's just me. Maybe.
I've only seen probably 2 or 3 of those as well. I haven't watched a ton of those.
Listen, most of it you don't really need to.
No, I understand that. When we were working on Halloween, like, one of the things that people kept saying to us was like, listen, slasher films really went off the tracks there for a couple years, where it was just like, they're going to give us how much money if we let these guys make this movie? Sure. Like, and so, like, I watched the first Halloween, the second Halloween, the third one, of course, because I was told that how crazy it is. And then the ones that preceded the ones I worked on, like the 2 that I hadn't worked on. And so, like, watching 1 and 2 of those, I was like, 2, to me, Halloween 2, I am, this is the movie we're talking about next week, but to me, Halloween 2 seems like it's sort of like Jaws 2, right? Where it's like,
yeah,
it's not awful. It's not, but it's, it's.
And we definitely got some lore and stuff that we'll be getting into on that as well, about how kind of down in old Carpenter and his feelings on all these kinds of things.
Right. A little Psycho 2, a little too much Psycho 2 in that script for my liking, but yes.
Good old John Carpenter's just like, look, does the check clear? That's all I give a damn about.
Look, I just want to get high and watch basketball all day. Please.
He does. And just everything goes. Now, God bless him. Every now and then he does go out with his kid and they play music and stuff at rock venues and whatnot.
Yeah, that's cool.
brother or his buddy or whatever there. So they had a good time with it. So I got to give him credit there. At least he's getting out of the house and not only playing 2K, because that's what I love, playing video games and staying at home and watching basketball. And you're just like, all right, buddy. At least you find what you like, and you're making enough to where you ain't got to worry about that. So God bless.
Yeah.
Well, let's get down to the old nitty gritty here, Shawnzy. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. What is your star rating and a recommendation, sir?
I think that if you are into slasher movies, I think that you're probably going to like this more than me. But for me, it's 1 star. Like, it's not the worst movie we've ever seen, but it's really not good. There's no passion behind the making of this movie either. There's also a lot of people who are just there using it as like a means to an end instead of, hey, I really I really want to do my best work here. None of that is happening.
Had to eat that month. You leave him be.
Listen, I know horror heads love Clu Gulager. I know.
Horror heads, Western guys. Clu Gulager's one of them motherfuckers that have been out there forever. Is in a trillion things. He's got his fans across all genres.
I don't know anybody who's like, listen, I've made my personality Westerns. Like people who pretend to be cowboys in Dallas, Texas, like walking around in a mall like they're cowboys. Like that's not because of Western movies. It's because they think that it makes them look badass.
My ex-wife's family in Oklahoma had a giant painting of John Wayne in their living room.
Wow.
Yeah. I was just like, what's with the Duke, man? It's just like John Wayne. I'm like, all right, cool.
Oh, you mean Western Jesus?
Yeah, he kind of was. Like, it was, yeah, what would normally probably be a portrait of Jesus was John Wayne. It's weird. There's Martin Abraham and Wayne. There we go. For me, I would probably years ago have rated this a 1 star as well, just because it doesn't follow the rules. It doesn't do any of the things. But the history and lore of this movie and everything and what it's kind of come and become to represent and everything is fascinating to me. And I think it's very interesting. And I think it makes the movie itself more of an interesting watch, knowing a little bit of kind of the behind the scenes stuff and the people that were involved and the time with which everything was. It's pretty interesting. So if anybody is the Scream Queen documentary is available on Tubi out there for anybody that's interested in that. Watch that and then watch the movie, and you might have a little different thoughts on the thing. So I just throw that out as a recommendation, or certainly the excruciatingly detailed Never Sleep Again, because you might never sleep again if you start watching that documentary. I swear it's like 13 hours or something. It's ridiculous.
Oh, wow. It's that long, huh?
Yeah, they really do kind of like put everything into it. So it's about as good as you're going to get putting all that nightmare stuff together. So that is it, everybody. We got yet another one in the books here. Next week, we're on Bruce's choice, and that is, as Sean said previously, a Halloween 2. The first Halloween was such a successful movie here and everything, and just really launched the career of Jamie Lee Curtis and really, everybody. John Carpenter, certainly at that point. He'd done some other things, but this was the one that would launch him into that stratosphere and get him that status of horror director extraordinaire that we all know and stuff today. But after that, maybe we just get him to write a little something, or maybe not write a little something. Whatever. We'll go through all those details and stuff next week when Bruce comes back and everything. But that is it, everybody. Sean, what else you want to plug?
Man, nothing. I'm good. Watch our YouTube channel if you're listening on a podcatcher, and if you are watching us on YouTube, check us out on whatever podcatcher you listen to.
Hey, you don't have to just watch us. If you throw up by the looks of our visages and whatnot, we've been doing this in audio form for way longer than this one. So go ahead and download that and everything, and not have that little right there in your throat there when you see us. So we appreciate you on that.
Well, come on.
You're right. Bruce is really, the one we gotta point out. That is it, everybody. Join us next week when we're talking Halloween 2 for the absent Bruce Leslie. Sweet Sean Kovacs from the internet. I'm Anna Portress, reminding you to go out there and watch some films, you dirty babies. Dang it.
There it is.